First and foremost, let me welcome everybody and allow them to do introductions. My name is Yolanda Bennett, and I serve as school-level instructional coach technologist here at Edisto Elementary.
Good morning. My name is Amani Rodriguez. I am a parent engagement specialist. So I'm so happy to be here with you this morning. You're muted, Janice. There you go.
Okay. Good morning. I'm Janice Putnam, also known as Miss P. I'm the parent liaison here at Edisto Elementary. And I can tell you a whole lot more, but I won't.
And the reason I called this meeting this morning and asked Ms. Rodriguez to attend, first and foremost, if you did not see the alert on the screen, let me take this time to let everyone know that they are being recorded. The purpose for recording is that we have to maintain meeting minutes for our Title I dossier or crate. And this serves as a planning meeting for some of the goals which our parent liaison has specified that she wanted to carry out in the 2022-2023 school year. So that's a little what behind the why of the recording, to have a virtual copy, of you will, of the meeting minutes for the planning meeting. The first part of the meeting will be devoted to the parent cafes or setting a framework. Ms. Putnam is going to share her vision and her objectives for what it is that she would like to do. I thought it would be a great opportunity to consult with Ms. Rodriguez. I've had the opportunity to work with her on some other projects in the district that fell under the Title I umbrella, under the Parent Engagement Reform Strategy. And I thought that she would be a great resource to offer guidance and structure in terms of some of the things that you were expressing. So Ms. P, if you would kind of offer a brief overview of what it is that you would like to achieve, the time frame, your target audience, and then the conversation will go from there.
Okay. One of the things that apparently our liaisons are responsible for are monthly parent engagement programs. Depending on the type of program, determines a lot of times what time of day or late afternoon it may be scheduled. This particular, I'm in my second year of parent liaison, and I'm still feel like I'm fumbling, and I would like, my ultimate goal is to be able to plan at least 6 months in advance the different parent engagement programs. But right now I'm kind of doing them at the beginning of the month, hoping to have one in by the end of the month, and I don't like doing it that way. But anyway, the one that I had thought of for this month was, and this isn't the definite topic, but this is the idea, better parenting through laughter, or using humor and laughter to help with the parenting skills or working with your students, because the ultimate goal of the parent liaison is to increase parent activity with their student, because that as an end result, you have a more successful student when you have more active parents. So we want to increase parent activity, do things that interest the parents and encourage them to want to be a part of their students' educational life. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm not really sure sometimes where to reach out to, or I've been I've not reached out enough in far as soliciting resources to be a part of the parent engagement nights. I know a lot of the schools do a bingo night, or in addition to their parent programs, they do bingo and literacy night, movie night. So I would like Eddystone Elementary, not necessarily copy, but I would like for us to be innovative in the programs that we offer, so that the parents are encouraged to participate. Because my ultimate goal for this office would it to be a resource center for parents. Say a parent needs to apply for a job.
Mhm.
I like to have a computer where they could schedule a time in to apply for a job, or to search for jobs, or have books for resources. So I think there's a lot of things out there, but I've got to build it, and I've been slow in building it the way I feel like it should go.
Okay. So the first question that I ask is, what type of parent engagement are you looking for? Are you looking for parent-child engagement initially? Are you looking to engage just the parent and help the parent, like maybe give them tips on how to communicate with their child, or how to engage their child in play? What is your initial?
The initial is for the parents,
Okay.
engaging the parents learning what they can do. I think a lot of times parents don't know what to do as far as helping their student with homework, or with reading, or any activity for that matter when it comes to school, because most of us learned education a whole different way than what they teach today.
Mhm.
And so people sometimes feel floundering and feel incapable of being a part of the educational process, and explaining, letting parents know too, that you don't have to just to be involved in your child's educational life. It's not just about homework. You know, you can volunteer. There are activities, and I want to have activities that parents can feel comfortable in volunteering for. So the parent liaison's role is ultimately you reach out, or you are a resource for the parents. You're that extra voice for the parents. And that encourages them to be more active in their child's educational life.
Okay. All right. So there are a couple of offerings that I have, right?
Okay.
One is workshops.
Mhm.
Okay. On parent-child engagement. I love workshops. They can be fun, right?
Right.
But they can also be a little labor intensive. I try to make them as interactive as possible with
Right.
role-playing scenarios
Awesome.
on helping parents look at different situations of how you may approach, talking to your child if this happens, or talking to them if this happens, or even talking to them at the dinner table if they're at a place where they can sit down and have a meal together, right? And those are normally 2 hours long at the most, right?
Okay.
And then next is Parent Cafe. My preference is Parent Cafe because Parent Cafe is fully interactive, right? And it is a series of, it's just not a one shot thing. So what Parent Cafe does is it takes the 5 protective factors of resilience, knowledge of parent and child development, communication, concrete resources, and even the parent's social support. It takes all of those into consideration and how they show up in the parents' daily lives, right? And it encourages the parents to do some deep self-reflection. And it
Okay.
also encourages the parents to learn from each other. So it's like a small group roundtable type of situation. It's themed. And most of the time the parents get to pick the theme that they want to use. They get to decorate the room, how they want to decorate the room. And I
Oh,
have a series of questions they get to choose from of what they want to talk about for 15 to 20 minutes per round, right?
Okay.
It encourages active listening. And a lot of times as parents, we don't actively listen when it comes to our children, right? So it'll help that skill with the parents, and that helps with a part of their parent-child communication. So when it comes to doing things like homework or reading to the child, they're able to stop and not want to interject and say, no, you need to do it this way, and really hear what their child is expressing and where they're struggling, and maybe help fill in the gaps that way. All of these services are available in person or virtual, whichever is more convenient. I prefer in person for the most part because it's a little different feeling when you're in a room with someone and you're able to really energize someone else and really become energized from how someone is interacting with you. Sometimes online is a little hard to get those type of feelings and really see what the buy-in is. Now, with the workshops and with the parent cafes, I highly recommend having a resource person in the room, someone who's able to be available with information for different organizations within the community where parents may need help, right? So
Right.
if you have a resource person on staff and you have a parent that may be struggling with, say, maybe their heating or cooling bill, right? So that
Right.
resource person will have information on, I don't know if we have LIHEAP here, right? So they may have information on LIHEAP, or they may have information on rental assistance, or they may have information on, after school care or mental health services or victim advocacy, those types of things. So the parents know that, I'm coming here. Number one, I'm coming here, I'm learning. Number two, it's a safe space. Number three, I can get help with resources if I need them, or at least the information that I need. Do you have any questions of me so far?
You're an angel. Because you have just touched on everything that I may not convey, but I agree with the the personal workshops and the parent cafe. I think parents get a lot more out of it. And I think it also gives them a little time away. It's like, and you said the parent cafe, that's an ongoing or several sessions. So they would have something to look forward to.
Yes.
And I wish I'd have known about you last year. But I mean, it is. You've touched on everything. I couldn't ask for anyone to be more knowledgeable. And I would love working with you and I mean, do you do the parent cafes? Do you do the workshops, or do you have someone that does them on your behalf?
I do them myself.
You do them yourself. Awesome. So I don't know where we go from here, but it's like you're an angel that's just been dropped down in front of me, and I'm so impressed with you're a resource that I really have been looking forward to finding. So I appreciate that so much. You just don't know. And I like your ideas about, like I said, with the parents, it's more than just education. It's communicating. It's having a safe place to say, I need help with, can you help? And I think that's a lot of it. There may be a lot of community resources, but when you don't know how to reach out or you don't know who to ask, that's one of our biggest problems as far as helping families. And so I think that's, it's exactly what's needed. And I think the parents here at Eddie Stowe Elementary, a lot of them are engaged. Well, I don't want to say a lot. There's quite a few parents that are engaged. But I think more of them can be reached and can be reached where they're receptive. And I think that I personally would like more personal contact with the parents, or rather than having to go through the teachers, I would rather it come from me. That way, that's a name and a face, and they can say, wait a minute, I can call Miss P. She'll tell me, or if she doesn't know, she'll find out. And so that's one thing that I'm, wanting to build as well. But yes, I'd love to hear more about your parent cafes and your workshops, and if you prefer introducing parents to the parent cafe to begin with, as opposed to a workshop. I'm open. I have no problems with workshops where I need to be here after hours. I've got two boys that I'm raising. One's 9 and 11. They're students at 10, 9 and 10. But I think I can pretty much swing if we do it at night where they can be. And so I'm real flexible as far as the schedule goes.
Okay. All right, Ms. Bennett, I see you raised your hand.
Yes. So moving forward, since you all are on the same wave, as a moderator for the meeting, what I'd like to do is set a next meeting date, because now that Ms. Putnam has heard what you had to offer and has the choices in front of her, what we must do on our end now is find dates within our school calendar that possibly work. Well, let me take one step back. Choose an approach. Are we doing parent cafe or are we doing workshops? If we're doing parent cafes, how many and when? And plot those on the calendar. If we're doing workshops, how many and when? And propose dates on the calendar, and then touch bases with you to see if that aligns with your calendar. Once we have the second meeting and see if it aligns with what's on our calendar versus what's with your calendar, then talk about invitations, flyers, those types of things. So and I think that moving, because we are now in what we call our SC Pass, SC Ready drill down time, which is 8 to 9 weeks of intensive focus on high stakes testing, where we take the kids through not just knowledge or content, but test practices so that they don't spaz out the morning of the test as elementary students. So I think what we need to do is maybe in a week reconvene. So pick a date a week from now, and in that week on our end here at Eddie Stowe Elementary, we will decide what approach and decide how often and when. And then when we meet, we can put that up on the calendar for you, Mrs. Rodriguez, and you can tell us what works, what doesn't work. Maybe some cafes we can push into 2 versus 1. So what may have started maybe as a 4 to 6, what would routinely maybe be for you 4 to 6, maybe we can squeeze it in 3 to 4 and move forward, because we didn't plan at the beginning of the year. I do know that as far as Title I is concerned, that whatever we do, the plan needs to be laid in the next 3 weeks, because those monies need to be spent before they are encumbered. Title I closeout routinely happens in March. So this is something that's more of a now and not later. Okay. So before we, because we have an admin meeting at 9:15, so before we close out, we need to establish a meeting time for next week, and then I can meet with Ms. Putnam individually to handle the legwork on our end before so that we have all of the artifacts that you need.
Okay. Let's see. Do you have school next Monday?
We do not.
Okay.
We are out on the 16th, and we have professional development as a district on the 18th between the hours of 8 and 12. Everyone is supposed to return to their site on the 17th by 1. So if you want to have an afternoon meeting, perhaps on the 17th, we're amenable to that. Additionally, what is this? January 18th. Mornings are a bad time.
I'm not available on the 18th. On the 17th, I'm available after 1 p.m.
Okay, so we can schedule a follow-up meeting anytime after 1 via Zoom on the 17th.
Okay. That works for me. What about you want to do 2 o'clock?
Ms. Putnam?
That's fine with me.
Okay. All right, I'll set that meeting and send out those links for that 2 o'clock Zoom meeting. And also keep in mind, because time is of the essence, that virtual is an option. If you want to get it started with virtual, with a few parents, no more than 10. And then once we move from virtual to in-person, then those 10 initial parents can help with the in-person cafe.
Considering our demographic and where we are as a district, being the school instructional tech, I would say that our kickoff may need to be in person, and we establish team captains, and where we may have a mix of virtual and brick and mortar.
No problem. I do recommend if it is after school hours, that you have some type of childcare, so you may be able to make a movie night for the children, and that food is made available for both the parents and the children, because that's part of the cafe experience.
Absolutely.
And incentives, please incentivize them to come to these. I'm not sure if you have a budget for gift cards, but gift cards are also always wonderful. If not, little gift baskets that can kind of coincide with the theme. So if you're having a movie night for the children on the night of a parent cafe, put together a movie theme gift basket, popcorn, and those types of things, candies or whatever like that.
Well, one thing that does jump out to me, and I say this in closing, is we hear Title I a lot in the school's Title I plan. We have a literacy night, we have a STEM night, we have different content nights. So if we could perhaps, and this will be something that I mentioned in the admin meeting, create a situation where parent engagement happens the same night as those nights. And that will give more bang for the buck. You can do academic and socio-emotional, because that's what this is, at the same time. And kind of either start earlier, and then that gives, like, if it's STEM night and they're doing the STEM activities where they build the robots, the kids have all of that in place while parents can go and do XYZ. So, but like I said, that's something that we'll look at internally on our side and have a proposed framework when we meet with you on next week.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So if all hearts and minds are clear, I'd like to thank everyone for their time. And yeah, we have a to-do list, and I look forward to working with each of you.
Same here. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, and I look forward to working with you also. And I really appreciate this meeting this morning, and I apologize for being a little bit late.
And
All
Ms.
right.
Putnam, I'll track you down about the healing species and DARE program schedule after our admin meeting this morning.